Welcome please to the JVG podcast, where these G's are gonna spread their seeds of knowledge about the league. It's flourishing with these. These funny catchers seem to be well read, esteemed and honest. Like the man himself, Jeff Van Gundy. They are high IQ, so cerebral and funny. So if you're on the bus, just border on the dunny. Listen to the
JVG NBA Tribute Show.
Hello and welcome to episode 107 of the Jeff Van Gundy NBA and sometimes WNBA Tribute Show. I'm your host Marco, joined as always by Lucas. Lucas, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you, Marco. How are you?
Pardon?
Oh.
I thought you were going to do that gag.
Oh, no, I already made it. It's like in Sunny. This is now very contrived, but the Sunny bloopers, they always... Actually, D makes pretty much all of them. And then they just... A different person will make the same joke every blooper.
Right.
Or like every take.
So
they keep it fresh, but they keep the same joke in the scene.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah. So I'm D.
Yeah, it's like one of those things where you improv the first time and then you're not improving for the next 12 times. And it's like...
Yeah.
Well, was it funny then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, can't really hear you, man, but what or something.
I guess...
Yeah. Well...
Friends of ours might know. You love to get your ears cleaned, right?
I've gotten it cleaned once.
Right.
And I loved it.
Right.
Like, nothing I've ever loved before.
Uh-huh.
And you came in here and I was just itching away at my ear. And I said, I got a really good itch. And then you said... I got a really good itch in my ear.
You due for a... What did I say? A scooping?
Oh, I like that. Let's go with that. You said...
An extraction, I think I said.
Yeah. You said, are you due for a scooping? And I said... I keep going to the doctor, and he keeps saying that I don't have much wax in my ears. And all I want is to then just give it a go. Because I'm sure it'll make me feel better.
Yeah, it's not even... I don't think it's really to get wax out of your ears. It's fucking getting the shit poured in. It's feeling like all clear afterwards. For years, since me and Alex have been, courting each other, if you will, she's been hammering on about how I have like fucking just completely blocked ears, and she just loves getting a little scrunched up bit of tissue paper, sticking it down, like getting out chunks and shit like that, doing a sort of home job.
Yeah.
And then fucking she's like, you need to go to the doctor. Like your ears are so blocked, they're so bad. You need to go to the doctor and get them cleaned. And I go to the doctor, and he's like, no, your ears are completely fine. Like, yeah, there's a bit of wax, but you just have an oddly shaped ear canal. Oh. So it looks like it's blocked all of the time.
Right.
But I still want my ears cleaned.
Yeah, just clean them.
I know.
Just do it.
I know I'm waxy. I know maybe I'm a healthy amount of waxy, but I'm waxy. Like, that's got to be reason enough. When your voice gets up here.
So how did this resolve itself?
It didn't.
It didn't.
Like, he was like, yeah, your ears are fine. I was going for fucking... Thank God I was going for something else. What was it? It was maybe the COVID vaccine or something like that. You know when you first had to go and like get permission from your doctor to get it and shit like that?
Is it all right if I get the vaccine?
Yeah, all right, dude. But yeah, thank God it wasn't just for the ears, because you like... Now, Dr. John, he's a great doctor, John Fogarty. You'll never get into his clinic. He's booked out for he's booked out for years. But very good doctor. He's like one of those doctors who you're like, you come with an issue and he'll give you the inspection, and then he'll be like, in 1840, and then just
no way.
Well, like he'll just give you like the entire like everything about what's wrong with you, everything about like the history of the treatments, like what works well, what doesn't work well, just like completely lays everything on the table for you, which I love personally. But it also means something like, nah, mate, your ears are actually fine, is like a 20-minute conversation.
Yeah.
Of like, so most people's eardrums, they have a slight curve like this, but yours has a much more elongated curve, which is good because it actually means it's easier for them to self-clean and stay clear. Thanks, John.
So it feels like it was a good experience.
Oh, yeah, definitely, but I would have loved to get my ears cleaned.
Yeah. So attention all doctors, just go, just do it.
Yeah.
Just like do it just for a little bit.
Yeah.
Just maybe like, I don't know, 3 seconds. Just do it. It'll give me peace of mind. Maybe it'll do something mentally to me that makes my ears stop.
Exactly.
Itching so much.
It's a placebo, if you will.
I think it's a on both ends. It's a placebo. I think I'm imagining the thing now, and then also after I get my ears cleaned in this imaginary world, it'll feel better.
Yeah.
But it will, like, come on, man, healthy mind, healthy body.
Yeah, exactly.
And things of that nature.
No, exactly right. Do you reckon what percentage of doctors do you reckon have like the pimple popping fetish?
Ooh. Great question. And I reckon I have the exact answer. I want to say 20%.
Yeah, I like that.
But it's like they're full on that 20%.
Yeah.
They're also the top, however many doctors there are in the world.
You reckon
Let's say there's 100,000 doctors in the world.
the top ones,
They are
the pimple pops?
the first 2,000.
Wow.
Yeah, they were like, let me get around these human bodies.
Damn.
So maybe we need to find one of those.
Well,
And be like, hey doc, just give him a... Also, it'd be 20,000.
yeah. I was gonna let that one sit. Yeah, because one time I got these infected tropical lesions under my arms.
Poor.
I've probably told you this story. And I had to get them drained at the doctor, and it was like I've never felt something exit my body in that way.
Yeah.
Like you cut into it, and it was like
yeah.
big pool of pus fell out.
Oh. How many milliliters are we talking?
I didn't have a look at the petri dish, but
That's fair.
but he kind of seemed to relish it. Like not like in a gross way. He was just like, "Wow, look at that!"
Oh my
and also,
god!
He'd never seen this infection before. He's like, "Yeah, I've never really seen anything like
Nothing. This is 0 for 2 on the last 2 things you want to hear at the doctor. You don't want news at the doctor. You don't want the doctor to be seeing something for the first time.
Yeah, they're like, "Hey, can you just come in here for a second?
Yeah.
That's something you want to have a look at."
You guys gotta see this. I got a freak in my room. Well, speaking of freaks,
Wow.
it's time. It is that time. The first round of the WNBA playoffs. However, this year, it's an actual 1 through 8 seed, 5-game series, which will be... I mean, not the last year. Last year's playoffs were great, but this is just like so much better.
I'm just stop you quite there. It's 3 games in the first round.
My bad. 3 games in the first round, and then 5 games every round after that.
Now I'll take that again. It's so much better. Like just looking at these games, even I'm like, why hasn't it always been like this?
Yeah.
I think there's going to be some no contests in this first round, which we'll talk about. But like, there's still going to be so much fun basketball to be played, and there's going to be players who would get barely a sniff of playoff basketball, getting like at least 80 minutes of action.
Yeah.
In the next week.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I actually... bad by me for not knowing that the first round is 3 games, but it changes every single one of my predictions, as you might assume.
Yeah, so they have to be in 2 or 3 instead of...
Yeah. Exactly right. You want to start 1 to 8, or do you want to start 4v5 and work our way up?
Let's start 1 to 8, because I think 3v6 and 4v5 are the more interesting ones. So
yeah,
maybe
that's fair.
We can blitz through these. So Las Vegas Aces secured the 1 seed with 2 good wins late in the season against 8 seed Phoenix Mercury, who I'm pretty sure are going to be without Diana Taurasi and Skylar Diggins-Smith.
Yeah.
For the whole series. So, I mean, I think this is just I think this is a wash.
Yeah, and
yeah, sorry, go.
Well, you factor in like Breanna's also not been there all season. That is their big 3.
Yeah,
and role players are great, but when they're role players,
yeah.
And now like who would their number 1 option be? Like Cunningham.
Maybe.
And she was cool when she like popped off for 6 or 7 threes in that play-in game they had last year, which ended out like she was the most instrumental part of their win. But I think that as I said, role players need to be role players.
Yeah. I mean, Diamond DeShields is there. But, she
true.
was coming off the bench for the Sky in their run last year. So it's really like, it's not, it's they're not going to be a competitive team, and they're going up against the Aces, who are like, I think just sort of on paper, the most talented team in the league. And we are, after kind of a patchy like 3rd quarter of the season, we've had like a nice strong finish. It looked really good since we've been starting Kia Stokes at the 5 and moving Asia down to the 4.
Yeah,
and that's just like really helped our defense. So I just don't think there's really a contest here.
No, I think that's fair. I don't think that this needs to be news.
The only thing I will say is, I mean, I don't want to shade the Mercury, because the fact that they made the playoffs, given the circumstances they've endured this season, is just incredible. But like, of those teams that were like there to take the 8th seed, they're kind of the one that I think should have missed out the most.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think they really... they're an experienced side, so like getting more. They went to the finals last year, so like getting more playoff experience isn't really a boon for them.
Yeah.
Then they were never gonna win a series against any of like the top 3 teams.
Yeah.
In the league. So whereas Minnesota Lynx, it was like Sylvia Fowles' last tilt at the playoffs, and the Atlanta Dream were like a good young team who could have really used the experience. So I think it's a little tiny bit. You can't blame the Mercury at all, but it's a tiny bit disappointing that it was them who got the 8th seed.
I understand what you're saying. I was actually thinking about it today, in writing this. Side note: should we turn that off the heater?
Yeah, it's quite
loud.
It's quite warm as well.
Oh, it's warm as well. So it's fulfilling both of its jobs.
Didn't know it was louder.
So I'm thinking the same thing. I was like, damn, Sylvia Fowles didn't get one last shot at the playoffs, or like at least one last taste of the playoffs. But then I was thinking about that like 6 through 11 seed run home, and one team did really well, who we'll talk about later, but the rest of them didn't do that well. And I think the fact that the Lynx missed out on the playoffs, maybe it's sad from the Sylvia Fowles point, but the fact that the Lynx missed out on the playoffs is like, I don't feel bad for them more generally. It's like these spots were there to be taken, and taken quite easily, especially the 7 and the 8 seed. And if you didn't make it, then you shouldn't be in the playoffs. It's a good reflection of your season.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's maybe the compliment to pay the Mercury is like going up against or in the running against a bunch of teams who had like a lot more to fight for in getting a playoff spot. They were still the better team.
Yeah,
like results wise.
Yeah. One last thing about the Aces that one comparison I had for them, I feel like they're like Roger Federer. Like. You just look so cool, and sometimes it looks like you're not even trying, and then at the end of the set you're down.
Yeah,
and like it feels like you go through patches of a game where you actually look like you aren't trying your hardest, and then you'll be up 6 points at the end of that stretch. And I think that's a cause for concern for the rest of the teams, especially the top 5.
Yeah. I mean, it's also been that will be kind of acting all cool, and then we'll just have a complete defensive blow up, and which is that's like I'm inheriting way too much of Dante's mother's cautious optimism here, but like that's like my biggest concern going into the playoffs is like we're just gonna fall asleep and let a game get away from us. But yeah. You're right. Like we're cool, calm, and collected, and I think we've got so much energy left to expend, in the playoffs as well.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
You did feel like you could like load manage within games.
Yeah.
Not like resting a player one game. It was like, no, we can give all of our stars a rest in the second half.
Yeah, Hundy.
Now, Chicago, New York.
Yeah, I mean, this one. I mean, I think this is going to be a fun series to watch. I don't know how competitive it is, because I think as sort of good as the Liberty are, and I think again they're very deserving team. I think they're like, this is an absolute matchup nightmare for them.
Yeah.
Like the Miesemann, Candace Parker front court is just going to be way too much for the Liberty to handle. When their starting center is the Sky's backup center from last season. Like no disrespect to Stephanie Dolson, she was like, she was so hardworking in the finals, like for just a bit player. But I think that going up against are they both former finals MVPs?
Who?
I think they might be Candace and Miesemann. Miesemann won one with
I'm not sure if Candace Parker is.
Damn.
But I think Miesemann is.
No, 2016.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Wow. With the Sparks. Yeah. So when the front court duo you're going up against on like an already really well oiled team is like just 2 all NBA caliber, all WNBA caliber players, then I think it's too much to ask.
Yeah. And speaking of load management within the season, Chicago's last game of the season, they won by 15 against the Mercury. No one of their starters played more than 20 minutes.
Wow.
So they're fresh and ready to go.
God.
I think that these could be quite like demoralizing losses for the Liberty, because I think they have exploitable holes and they just lose their identity within a game in certain patches, and the team that's going to capitalize on that more than anyone else is going to be the champions from last year, especially on their playoff run last year and then the way they've been playing this year. And then think about that Sky Sun game from a few weeks ago that we were talking about on pod. That just being in that situation, being in that scenario, I feel like if it ever does get into a high pressure situation, we've seen how well both the Sun and the Sky did in that game.
Yeah.
And I just think that if it ever does get to a close late game or just a close important stretch, that the Liberty won't be prepared for that, and the Sky will be for more reasons than what we've already highlighted. I do think though. That this season for the Liberty has been a success in the fact that Ionescu has started being a perennial all-star. She's established herself now. Yeah, and the potential's gone. She's here.
Yeah,
which might put them on the clock next season. And I think if they don't just naturally progress to an above 500 team, then someone will lose their job.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to make the comparison, but I think it's a bit Dallas Mavericks right now. It's this is like the transcendental point guard, the triple-double machine, ready for big moments. Now the window's open, so kind of make it work.
Yeah.
Obviously with less regular season success than Dallas had, but that's just how the WNBA works. There were 11 teams competing for the playoffs and one tanking.
Yeah.
This season versus 20 and 10 in the NBA in any given year. So I think that'll be fun. I think it'll be can Ionescu have can she have a 25-point triple-double in a playoff loss?
Yeah.
Is that in her wheelhouse already? I think it is. She's obviously a big game player.
Yeah. I can't remember who said it, but they were talking about my guy Ron Harper Jr.'s draft. They were doing a scouting report. Jesus.
Really? You can't remember who said that?
And they refer to him as a gamer. I like that term.
Yeah.
As someone who just makes shit happen.
Yeah.
And someone that just like Ionescu, just will just seize a big opportunity.
Yeah.
So yeah, whoever that is, shout out. And Ionescu, you're a gamer.
A few more words on the Sky before we move on. Like I said, they're a matchup nightmare for the Liberty, but I really think they're a matchup nightmare for anyone.
Yeah.
I think whether or not they're the best team in the playoffs, they're the hardest team to beat. They've got the least exploitable flaws, and the fact that they just added, as I said, a former Finals MVP to the team that won the finals last year. It's a lot more. It's a lot more meaningful now that we're in the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's okay, so they were that good coming from the 6th seed last year when they had, they didn't have they had disadvantage the entire the entire playoffs, and now they're gonna have home and away until the finals.
Yeah.
Home advantage until the finals. That's really scary.
Also, we're missing one key thing here. They have 3 finals MVPs.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's true.
They have the one from last year.
Oh my god.
Who honestly, I reckon there was a player better than her in that series, being Vandersloot. So you could make if you were in Chicago, I think you could make the case they have 4. Let's say 5 finals MVPs.
God, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Yeah, when your worst player by a margin is Ali Quigley, it's well, you're fine.
Yeah. I think you did make a great point just then about the fact that you're gonna have to beat them, and I think that kind of does its own work as well, because you can go in being okay, cool, so they're gonna do this to us, we can absorb that blow, we can react with this. And that's one game plan. But then it's oh no, we also have to bring shit to the game. And it'll be. I think they'll clean up the Liberty, but I think they'll probably be the most exhausting team to play.
Yeah.
In the second round, and then I mean, not to give anything away, but I think that they'll make the finals.
Yeah, definitely. That's my prediction.
Yeah. Sun v Wings. So this is Connecticut versus Dallas.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is going to be like a very competitive series.
Yeah.
I think I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I think more so than Storm than the 4v5 series. Okay. I think the Sun are in this funny position where they're really good, and they've been really good for about 4 years now. But like they really need to do something. You know, like they were disappointing last season in the playoffs, and they've been obviously like had another solid season this year, but I don't think there's been the indicators that they'll be better in the playoffs than they were last year, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
However, like Dallas is just such a they're a very uneven team.
Yeah.
I think they'll be without Ogunbowale, which has been kind of to their advantage for the last few games.
Yeah.
They've been playing really well without her. And I think they actually match up pretty well with the Sun all over the court. Maybe not like, okay, I don't think they've got a more talented player at any position, but I think there's a solid matchup everywhere.
Yeah. Like
the Tierra McCowan, Jonquel Jones, like McCowan's the sort of center I think who could shut her down, if necessary. And I think we've seen that that's sort of been how you beat the Sun, is like get Jonquel Jones out of the game early, and then you can sort of deal with everyone else. However, the Sun are just too good. Like I think they'll have to win this series.
Yeah, well, that was my last point that I wanted to make about McCowan and Jones. I just think McCowan will win that matchup. Yeah. Because, we've seen that Jonquel Jones can get taken out of a game. And Tierra McCowan, I got her stats up from the last, when she got the starting role at the end of the season.
Yeah, I think it was like she's 17 and 11 or something like that.
Oh, I know where that's from.
Yeah.
But since she got the start, which is the last 13 games of the season, 16 and 10.
Wow.
But that stretch that you're talking about isn't including the first two games of that.
Well, it's a point and a rebound. So.
Yeah. But yes, the Wings, talking about that 6-11 narrative from like 8 games ago. Since then, the Wings went 6-2 to finish the series, and there was pressure on all of those teams to break away. And I think that something needs to be said for the team that did it.
Yeah.
And I think that to just go back to that gamer point, it's just like they made it happen. Within the last few weeks of the season, they've already showed that they can make something happen, and I think that alone will get them a win. I thought that if it were to go to 5, that the series would go to 5. Between the Sun and the Wings. But I think, to your point, it's just like, how can you not pick the Sun?
Yeah.
if you're going to pick it between, if it's a 3-game series or a 21-game series, you can't look at this series and not pick the Sun.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're the better team all over the court, and they're the team, I think, with more to prove as well. True. With more
to lose as well.
Yeah, more to lose. Like if the Wings get eliminated, it's like, oh cool. Like, it was a bit of a middling season, and at the end of the day we came at like the top of, like you were saying, the top of the rest. Like there's sort of like the 5 powerhouses kind of secured, and the Dallas was the next best team. For the Sun, it's like, all right, cool. Well, like, what do we do next year? Like this is our 4th shot at it, and we haven't gotten anywhere.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that that low pressure situation for the Wings, even if they get, I think if they leave these playoffs with a win, I think they'd be pretty happy.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Also, I was looking at Jonquel Jones' stats from year to year, last year to this year, and they're quite a lot worse. Like she was the MVP last season. Yeah. And she's dropped her points she's, I think, scoring 75% as many points as she was last season. And for someone that is like a scorer, that's a big drop.
Yeah. I just feel like, it is quite a big drop.
Yeah.
I just feel like, I just think you just see her get targeted a lot more. And she doesn't, I don't think she quite has that like, which is crazy because like centers, bigs like her kind of rule this league, but she just doesn't always seem to have that will to take over a game and to just be like, all right, whatever you're throwing at me, it doesn't matter. Like, I'm going to get through it. Like, you know, like you see Asia do, like you see Stewie do, like you see Breanna do, or even like, you know, an old, even Sylvia Fowles.
Definitely.
This season.
Yeah.
At age fucking 105. Like, she'll, you know, they'll be putting everything on her and she'll be like, no, I'm just fucking smacking you out of the way and getting a bucket. You don't see John Calder Jones do that as much.
Yeah, we had I think our last game or second last game of the season was against the Lynx, and there was nothing we could do about it. Like, she was finishing over 2 players, and yeah, she was just like, I'm gonna get a hook shot up this possession. You can bring the help from where I'm gonna turn to. I'll just go through them. I'll find the gap. But I'm going to get to this right hook and it's going to go in. And we were so helpless from time to time. From any time she did that. I think with Jones, she gets targeted. And one, she doesn't like just take over a game. But two, and this is about the Sun more generally, they don't play off of that. They don't make the most of that.
Yeah.
She gets doubled in the post and then it usually just turns into a turnover. And then either the coach will pull her and the other team will be like, cool, great success. Or she'll stay on the court and just get taken out of the game. Where there are these 2 other options that just never get explored.
Yeah.
And I feel like the 2 options that they choose, or the 2 options that end up happening, are the 2 options that the other team wants. And not once, when a team does target her, do I feel like they've won that.
Yeah.
They've just like accepted it's going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's like one of the greatest strengths of like having a big who can kind of beat anyone one-on-one. You know, it's not that they can beat anyone one-on-one. It's what they open up for the rest of the team. You know, like if we get the ball to Asia, like we're not just looking for her to score. We're looking to create a disruption so we can get an open 3 from like, you know, 2 42+% 3-point shooters. Yeah. You know, like that's the game plan. When you have like a player who attracts as much attention as that. And yeah, I don't think the Sun, I think you're right. I don't think the Sun, I don't think they exploit that enough.
Yeah. Also, before we move on, in the Wings' last 8 games where they went 6-2, they had 2 notable wins against the Aces and the Sky. And the losses, for context, were against the Liberty and the Mercury.
Wow. That is interesting. Giant Slayers.
That changes everything. All right, here we go. The Storm versus the Mystics.
The big one.
How are you feeling? I
want you to take the majority in this, but I just think this is going to be so much fun. I think Stewie Delle Donne is just going to be white on white crime the fun. Like, I think it's one of the matchups of the playoffs for sure.
Yeah. So we finished the season 500 on the road. And that feels really, really good. That's made me feel like a lot more relaxed. I know that it was probably an inconsequential game, but if you look at the whole picture, it just does feel much better than, honestly, if we were 8-10 on the road, or what other 2 numbers out to 18, or 6-12, they would both feel the same to me. I would feel like just the fact that it was under 500 would be a clinch. But the fact that we're at 500 is, you know, helps me sleep at night. And honestly, I feel pretty good about this series.
Yeah, you do?
Yeah. Yeah, well, I got a lot more to say, but I'll pass to you for a sec.
Yeah, no, I think you're the favourites here. The Mystics have been really fun. Like, they've been a really good team to watch, and it's been impressive how tight they've been when Delle Donne's been out as well. I think that's been the most fun thing about them, has been like, oh, there's like a really good team backing up one of the best players in the league here. Yeah. But you guys are just, I mean, I think that Tina Charles pickup is just gonna be, I'm probably still underrating the impact that it's gonna have in the playoffs. Because I think you had a solid, like, championship contending caliber team before that, and you've just added like an absolute scoring threat. Yeah. I don't know. I haven't watched you play so much since she's been starting, so I don't know how her and Magbagor have been sort of sharing, you know, the center position. But I think if that's been figured out, then like, it's kind of, there's kind of nothing you can do at the rim against the Storm.
Yeah.
You know, like if you got Stewie sort of like helping, you got McBegor just blocking shots, and then Tina Charles is there too. Then it's kind of like both offensively and defensively inside is Seattle's game.
Well, that was the one thing I had highlighted was Noelle Quinn. I feel like she needs to be more fluid and cutthroat in the big rotation. I think that she was quite rigid since we got Tina Charles, and I think that might be a byproduct of her integrating her into the lineup and then into the rotation and then into the starting lineup. So maybe there is the positive of that being figured out by now. But I think that she does need to just make a call on the game as it's developing. Like, do we need the D or do we need the O? Like that just has to be the decision. And some games McBegor. Jesus, I went back to fucking
McBegor,
the 7+ commentator for the Olympics.
Oh my god, I miss him so much.
McBegor.
Do you reckon he'll be at the World Cup?
Oh, he might be. He absolutely might be.
He really might be.
Wow. Oh, we gotta
interview him.
We gotta find out who he is.
Yeah.
We will be able to find out who he is.
Yeah. Anyway, go on.
Yeah. So between McBegor and Charles, maybe there's some games where one of them plays 35 minutes and the other one doesn't play at all. But I have liked that the 4 and the 5 rotation has just been Stewie, McBegor, and Tina Charles, and that just feels so steady. I know that. McBegor, I'm gonna start saying Ezzy because I keep fucking up the rhythm. Ezzy does make quite a few mistakes offensively, but she more than makes up for them defensively. But defensively, that unit there's such a level of assurance. Like Charles, maybe not the best defender, but so good on the glass. Stewie is, I reckon, a better defender than Ezzy. Ezzy is like has higher highs, but from possession to possession, Stewie is just like an anchor. And then Gabby Williams has just been shutting down whoever she has to guard. Like in that Lynx game, I was like, what's happening? Why is this game... Why are the Lynx struggling so much? She just clamped up aerial powers. I think she had her first bucket in like the 3rd or 4th quarter.
Wow. And
the reason was just Gabby Williams was just on her the whole time. Jewel Lloyd has been fucking crazy lately. I think she had 8 threes in our last game.
Or did she have 38 or something?
Yeah. Was that against you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she had 38 points, 8 threes. Like every shooting slip was above 50. And then Sue Bird probably having her worst like career numbers wise, but she just optimizes everyone else on the court. And like was she part of that discussion when we were like, she makes assists? She's one of the players you can look at to be like, oh, that's why assists matter.
Yeah.
Oh no, we're talking about Vandersloot.
No, we're talking about Vandersloot.
I feel like
I think it can extend to Sue Bird.
I think it can extend to Sue Bird beyond assists as well. Like early hit ahead passes, cutting quickly, cutting with purpose, like setting back screens and stuff. Like she puts everyone else in their position, and then everyone else is so talented that when she sets them up, there's no wonder we have such like some of our games, we're just up by 30 in the middle of the 3rd quarter. And then, at this point, like, Talbot and... Oh, I've hit on all the other role players. But, if our role players just have to be role players, then I feel good. Like, with that core 4 of Sue Bird, Jewel Lloyd, Breanna Stewart, Tina Charles, then you have Williams and Breon January. Williams, January, Gabby Williams... Oh, fucking hell. Williams, January, Talbot, McBegor. They just have to be role players, and that feels really good.
And that's almost more depth than any team in the playoffs has. Because like what I didn't touch on before is like the Chicago Sky have like 6 really good players and then not much else.
Yeah,
the Aces have. I mean, even Hamby was an all-star this year, and she's just fallen off a fucking cliff since then. So. I think you have maybe apart from Chicago again, I think you have the best chemistry in the league in terms of the types of players you have together. Like they're so complementary, and it's just such a good combination of like experience, athleticism, youth, skill, like it's all there. I think for sort of I think you guys are like a shoo-in for the top 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like going into this season as well, I was like, I didn't really want Mercedes Russell to be part of the center rotation. And she's played 5 games for a total of like 54 minutes or something. And I don't know, I feel like there was a bit of addition by subtraction there as well. Like if our 3 bigs are Breanna, Stewart, Tina Charles, Ezzy, that's great.
Yeah, it's
but
so
then when
good.
also Mercedes Russell isn't in that, I feel like that's also good.
Yeah.
Feels bad to say, but
Nah, you can say that.
but with a 4 seed.
I reckon. We didn't give our numbers for any of them, but yeah, I'm gonna go Storm in. I'm gonna go Storm in 2 actually.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Yeah,
man.
you got double home court, and it's Sue Bird's last playoff run, and it's Seattle, the fucking home of women's basketball.
I was going Storm in 3.
Yeah, nice.
I'll do actually. Let's run through them all.
Okay, cool.
Aces and Mercury.
Aces in 2.
Aces in 2. Sky and Liberty.
Sky in 2.
Sky in 2. Sun v Wings.
Sun in 3.
Sun in 3. Storm v Mystics.
Storm in 2.
Storm in 3. All right, so we got the same second round.
Yeah.
And 1 game different in the first round.
There's a lot less room for there's a lot less room for error in this playoffs. I feel like there's 5 really good teams, and then I think Seattle are just so much better than the Mystics, like right now as well.
Yeah. Well, we're about to go get some El Jenna,
Hell yeah!
which I'm so excited for.
Perfect timing.
However, before we move on to that, have you heard of Taj McWilliams Franklin? So this is a name I saw on Basketball Reference somewhere, and I was like, stop the fucking presses. I need to find out more. So Taj McWilliams Franklin is a former American professional women's basketball player. She had... Her professional career spanned 3 decades and began before the WNBA was founded, which is awesome. Found her LinkedIn. Now, Taj McWilliams Franklin has her pronouns set as she/her/diva.
Oh my god.
Like, when
Oh my god.
Feb 30 was
And
the
she's-
last time she missed.
And she's like 50 or something.
51.
Wow. My god.
Unbelievable.
Mick Williams sounds like the most fake last name ever.
The whole thing in a
Yeah.
row sounds fake. And it's also, it's hyphenated for anyone
yeah.
playing at home.
Yeah. I
Man,
gathered.
her LinkedIn is so good.
Who'd she play for?
It's not on her LinkedIn, but it says Purdue University, Global, and then just WNBA.
Wow. Taj McWilliams Franklin. Let's have a look. 2-time WNBA champion, the Detroit Shock and Minnesota Lynx.
Are you on her LinkedIn or?
Yeah, sorry. I'm on the other one.
I got her LinkedIn. Do you want to see her words? I played in WNBA in different cities for different teams. Those teams included Orlando Miracle, Connecticut Sun, Los Angeles Sparks, Washington Mystics, Detroit Shock, New York Liberty, and Minnesota Lynx.
Wow.
Simple as that, bro.
You'll never guess what is... Wow. Did she play for... No, just one. You'll never guess what team in Australia she played for.
Ooh, does it exist still?
No.
I'm going to go Southeast Dragons.
That's a good guess. It was the Dandenong Rangers,
Oh,
which is a great name for a basketball team,
Yeah,
by the way. Or
Dan-
any sports team.
I think Dan McGuinness played for them.
Really?
Yeah, in
Damn.
juniors.
Wow.
Dan McGuinness.
Damn, Daniel. Yeah, they're the Southside Flyers now, right? Gotcha.
Oh, I was close.
Damn, the Dandenong Rangers. Someone needs to pick that up. All right, well, see you guys next week when will the first round be over, or will we?
Ooh, that's a good question. It starts on Thursday our time.
It starts on Thursday, so we'll be deep into the first round. So we'll be able to give our thoughts on that, and then we're gonna talk through the season.
Oh yeah. Alright, see everyone next week.